Wood. Fancy, fancy wood. Wait till you see what today's guest can do with fancy wood.
Welcome to More Than Home podcast. I'm Lindsay Strobel, and that is my husband, Hans Strobel, and we are realtors. And it's been a crazy world in real estate lately. And so if we can help you with questions about real estate or the market or anything like that, email us hi@threevine.group.com and we will get you taken care of. Okay, we're super excited about our guest today. We have Doc Wright with us. He is an artist, a wood artist, and the owner of the Wright Edge, which is a high-end custom woodworking business. He's got pieces all over the place. He's worked with the Ritz-Carlton, JW Marriott. He's got stuff in Choctaw Nation, Hard Rock Cafe. The list goes on and on. He was recently also in an international woodworking magazine. So we're very excited to welcome Doc Wright.
Thanks for having me.
Podcast. Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Good to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. I'm glad you're
So
here.
tell us, how does one get started as a master craftsman of woodworking?
Yeah.
Blind luck.
Yeah?
That or stupidity, one of the two. No, I just picked it up as stress relief from work. Being a geologist in the oil industry, I was working 2 weeks on, 1 week off, not traveling, just in the office. And so on my weeks off, I needed a hobby to kind of take out my frustrations from daily life.
Sure.
So that's how it all started.
Wow. So you have a geology degree?
Yeah, and a
From
minor
where?
in chemistry, Texas Tech.
Oh, from Texas.
Guns
Well,
up.
we got to start there. It's just,
Just a little side note.
this whole show is ruined.
No, okay. So you started out, you're like, what are you doing? You're in the oil and gas, doing something.
Yep. I worked in operations.
Mhm.
So we worked a lot with drilling engineers and directional drillers,
Yeah.
Basically executing drilling plans and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then, just got pretty frustrated with how things were going with my
Sure.
career and stuff. Because, we all grew up during the time where, you go to high school, you get the degree, you go to college, get
Yeah.
the degree, start working, get the pension,
Right.
do that thing. And by the time I was like 31 or 32, I was already making more money than my parents. And I pretty much had all the boxes checked off, and I was bored out of my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Originally, I didn't think anything would come of it. Like, it wasn't a goal. I was just basically messing
Yeah.
around. And then an interior designer found me, asked me to bid on a 14 by 5 foot conference room table. So I did. The next week, she hit me up asking me to bid on 5. So it was like
Wow.
that, oh, Jesus. I have to make a decision now.
Yeah.
So I figured I was young enough, not married, don't have kids. If I'm going to take a financial risk, now's the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Little over 4 years.
Okay. When
Nice.
you went full time, basically, with
Went
the
full
Right
time.
Edge.
And I'd only been woodworking for 2.5 months before I went full time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we
That's
need to
amazing.
show what this man does,
Yeah,
because
you have to see it to.
I hear woodworking and I don't think that.
No. Mm-mm. What even is that?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about each of these shots that come up, because these are insane.
Yeah, those are from Thailand, made out of a wood called golden acacia.
Wow.
Hmm.
Those
What did
are-
you make those into?
Those are either like vertical standing art pieces, or we can wall mount them. We can turn them into a coffee table, put glass on top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally whatever our clients want.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So you actually ordered it from Thailand.
Mhm.
Wow.
That one is actually called a drip table, and that's done all with chainsaws and angle grinders.
Wow.
So imagine you take a tree that's vertical,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
you turn it sideways,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and that's what you're seeing. It's literally just carved on
Oh,
both
wow.
sides.
So it's carved. It's not like it was bent or anything. Like,
Yep, straight carved.
wow.
Wow. That's impressive.
Amazing.
We wanted to see if we could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did.
And you did.
And that
Where is that?
That is at a new restaurant in Keller called Horizon 76.
Oh,
That
cool.
is so cool.
So we did a 45.5 foot bar top.
Wow.
Is that multiple? I mean, that one's obviously like multiple pieces put together.
Oh yeah, that one was 1, 2, 3, 5 different slabs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then what is the blue that runs through it? What is that material?
It's epoxy. So one of our former employees that is a resin artist, it's actually Amanda Fine is her name, and her boyfriend is the one who doesn't coffee.
Okay.
So
Let's talk about that
anytime we can incorporate Amanda's work in a project, we
Uh-huh.
always do. We actually have a project right now where we have her working with us on.
Oh, it's
So
beautiful.
we like to do things a little bit differently rather than what you see on like Etsy or
Yeah.
Wayfair or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And epoxy's really overdone at this point, but I've yet to see anybody do what we do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not overdone. It doesn't take away from the piece. We're actually just kind of adding to it really decoratively.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like that bar top.
Yeah. Because the wood by itself is super cool and amazing. And
Yes.
so it's not just like the epoxy's not the cool part.
Exactly.
Not the only cool part.
Let the
Yeah.
wood speak for itself.
Right.
Don't try to overpower it. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people make that mistake in our
Mhm.
industry.
Mhm.
Where does all the wood? I mean, you said that one was from Thailand. Is there?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have relationships with these other countries, and you just say, "Hey, I need this," or
Yeah.
Honestly, it depends. I get hit up weekly from people around the world to buy wood.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, it's
same. So
yeah. I mean, it's a rough life, dude. I mean, everybody wants you to buy their wood.
Is there a max amount of times that you can say wood in a podcast? Because I feel like
Yeah.
get
So
we're in trouble.
our main source is actually a guy down in Costa Rica.
Oh yeah.
So we work with a lot of farmers and stuff like that. So we don't cut down any trees. And every time I
Wow.
purchase wood, we
Mhm.
actually, like $1 of that goes into like $1 plants 10 trees.
wow.
Aw, I love
So-
that.
We're
Yeah.
doing that. And like the biggest thing that we always get asked, importing from other countries is, is it sustainably sourced and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Well, Costa Rica is the only country in the world over the last 50 years to actually grow their rainforest. So if you want to harvest a tree,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of government permits you have to go through, just even take the tree, get the tree down,
Mhm.
get it to a mill, get it put into a kiln, then packed on a shipping container, that's a heck of a structure to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we work with a lot of farmers down there. We,
Yeah.
it's their property and stuff, so we just purchase down trees.
So
Yeah.
it's like supporting small farmers and stuff too.
And we know where our money's going.
Mhm.
It's actually helping the community
Yeah.
down there. So like
That's
our,
really cool.
our guy down there, Bernardo Urbina, who owns Costa Rica Mill,
Mhm.
his family owns a giant dairy farm. And
Wow.
his fiance, because they're on a dairy farm, she has her own frozen yogurt company.
Oh,
Aw.
cool.
And then he's a fellow artist, just like me, has a showroom in San Jose. And he got into the wood exporting business kind of because of me.
Wow.
So now we are as thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things are going very well.
That's cool.
Just adds to the story of your work too, I'm sure. Because we were talking about earlier how your pieces are oftentimes like a story to
Yes.
tell, right? Especially
Yeah.
when you do like custom work for like high end, just like residential clients,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part about this industry that I love. When you get into the woodworking world, there's basically two avenues you can go. You can go custom or mass production.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Both have their pluses and minuses, but mass production does not interest me at all.
Mhm.
It's boring.
Right.
You're replicating your work over and over and over
Right.
again. Rather, me, I'm a glutton for punishment. So every time we get a client, it's like, how far can I push them to do something crazy?
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of the conversation is
Yeah.
getting ideas in their head that either you didn't even think of, you didn't know was possible,
Yeah.
but because we're always custom, it's like, okay, we did it this way this one time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How can we one up ourselves?
Yeah.
And that's what really makes
Yeah.
it fun for us.
So I have a lot of questions in general, but
Ask away, man.
in life. But so tree falls in the forest. Everyone hears it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Crush that joke.
Wow.
Dad jokes.
And so
That's tough.
it gets put on a ship.
It'll actually go to the mill first.
So,
they'll
yeah,
actually
so once it's ready to move, they
Mhm.
put it on a boat, and then
shipping container.
yeah, and then you're picking it up where, or you have a trucking company go pick it up.
Yep, it'll get shipped to the port of Houston, and then
Yeah.
it'll actually get put on a railway cart.
Okay.
And actually, basically at the corner of 45 and just south of I-20, there's a
Mhm.
huge, like all the shipping containers that come in from the port of Houston and all that
Mhm.
stuff get brought into this one area, and then once it's there, just gets put on a truck and brought over to us, and then we unload it.
So I'm assuming you're not actually going to Costa Rica. So you're getting pictures of what's fallen, all of that, and then it's like you
It's like
guys
an
figure out,
inventory website or something.
price that makes sense and everything.
Yeah, Bernardo and I, like, we actually have a container that's on the water right now that'll get here on the 22nd. We've been working on this container for 7 months.
Wow.
Wow.
Like,
Is it one piece or is it multiple?
multiple.
Yeah.
It's, I don't even know how many pieces. It's a 40-foot shipping container, and it is full. And it's crazy stuff that I haven't seen, or him and I came up with some unique ideas for.
Yeah.
Majority of everything on this container is purely experimental. But it's also that kind of stuff that could potentially really further separate us from our competition.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Why
super
7
cool.
months?
Takes a while to find certain stuff.
Just does,
Yeah.
yeah. So then are some of those pieces like not actually, they haven't been commissioned, like
None of them
they just
are.
go in the showroom, basically? You play around and build
They'll
something
come to the
awesome?
shop.
Yeah.
So, what we were kind of discussing earlier is with our kind of level of clientele, nobody really wants to buy anything from us that's already pre-made.
Right.
Yeah.
So the showroom is actually just kind of a really good initial meeting spot for our clients to come in. They'll sit down with Jennifer, my employee.
Mhm.
They'll go through kind of the process, the budget, kind of what they're looking for, get all the basic information
Mhm.
before they come down to the shop to meet me.
Mm.
And where our business model is a little bit different is I buy all of our inventory up front. And there's never any plans for it
Okay.
as of yet, knock on
Yeah.
glass. So that way, like,
Knock
if
on
you
glass.
guys
The wood
want to
guy.
come commission, whatever from us, you guys actually get to come down to the shop and hand pick out your own
Yeah,
piece.
that's really cool.
Wow.
Or if we have, like, right now we have a client that's up in New York, it's all done by pictures.
Mhm.
You pick out exactly what slab you want. I draw, I do all of our design work in 3D. So before we actually start fabricating, everything is signed off on, powder coating colors,
Mhm.
everything is already agreed upon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they can come in and see the pieces that you have and get creative with it. Or if it's not what they want, you'll go find it basically in Costa Rica, wherever.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's super cool.
That's super cool. I want to go back to the pictures.
Yeah, I was
'cause
gonna say, do we
there's
have
a
more
few
of those?
more that are
'Cause
like, yeah, look
They're
at that one.
all just crazy.
That's
Okay.
the epoxy, like what you were talking about, how the epoxy's cool, but the wood, it's the wood that's the art, right? Like,
Yeah, and so what's really cool about that project, when you guys were growing up, did you ever watch that show Home Improvement?
Mhm.
oh yeah,
Tim the Toolman Taylor
Tim
worked
the
at
Toolman.
Binford Tools.
yes.
Turns out Binford Tools is a real company.
Oh,
What?
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so the guy that we did that coffee table for, he actually got a dining table that we had this like 3,500 pound giant root ball that we cut up into 3 pieces, put 2 of them together. That
Yeah.
was this base. And then he wanted a coffee table. So we took one of the other cutoffs.
Yeah.
That was the base of that. And then we just had this little sliver of really goofy root ball that we got up on the mill, cut into 2.5-inch thick pieces. And that's what made it the inside of the coffee table. But he was the
That's
kind of
cool.
client, like after they saw the dining table and how well that came out, we actually did 2 benches for him. He was like, yeah, okay, I know we talked about the coffee table idea, but how about you just go to town?
Yeah.
You just make me something cool. And I'm like,
Oh,
I got you, son. I got you. No rules to this? Let's go.
How
That's
often does
awesome.
that happen? Like,
Not often.
really?
Not
Most
often.
people come in and they know exactly what they're trying to.
To an extent, everybody, majority of, especially residential clients, they'll come in with a general idea of at least size.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we start going through the design process, they're like, oh, there aren't any rules to this.
Yeah.
Ah,
No.
Yeah.
wow.
We can go as far down this rabbit hole as you want to.
That's awesome. So what, you don't have to answer, but like, what's the most expensive piece that you've ever done?
You have
And
to
how much
answer
was it?
his line.
Was it 6 figures? Yeah. Comfortably? That's awesome.
I'm going to say probably, it wouldn't be considered a single piece,
Yeah.
but we did, as an overall scope of a job for the Delta by Marriott that's up in Allen off 75 in Bethany,
Yep.
Mhm.
we did 1,800 square feet of decorative wall that we had to buy and order
Do
421
we have that picture?
8-foot.
Yeah, is that it?
Oh,
That's one of the walls. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the vertical wall.
wow.
So that's like 12 and a half feet tall. We
Uh-huh.
did 2 sliding barn doors. And the restaurant there is, I cannot remember the name, but the chef is Chef Stephen Pyle.
Oh,
The
yeah.
famous guy? That was his
yeah.
restaurant.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
So we did 2 big sliding barn doors that were like 11 feet tall for that. And then we did his hostess stand, a big sliding barn door. There's 3 other horizontal walls, a big art piece, computer desk, 4 benches, and then some other art pieces. So like we were on that job from like February through December 8th.
Wow.
Wow.
And then even after that, like in their lobby area, they added one of the giant root balls, we put a big 1/2-inch piece of Starfire glass on top. So that job
I don't even
was
know what that means, but it sounds really cool.
big, thick piece of glass.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was
what
their
other pictures
largest
do we
single
have?
job.
That one's cool.
Oh, that's one of the relics.
What does that mean?
That was one of the originals.
The original, the
Really?
OG right there.
Yep, that's one of the OGs.
That looks cool.
It's actually leaning up in my shop right now.
Mm.
So on the left, that's actually 2/3 of that 39-foot table.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
And then we just delivered and installed that slab. So that slab is another piece from Thailand called chamcha. And I bought 5 of those slabs.
Wow.
Those come around maybe every 3 to 5 years because
Yeah.
they're like 11.5 feet long by 68 inches wide.
How big is that
Oh
tree?
my gosh.
Considering the fact I got 5 slabs all the same
Yeah.
width out of that tree,
Out of one tree.
That's massive.
that is a massive tree.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom how big that thing was.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Oh,
Ah,
yeah, look at
Lena.
that.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a mirror. I drove out to Vegas. So she is the lead singer of a band called Infected Rain. She's from
I
Moldova.
totally stalked her.
Yeah.
She looked so cool. I was like, I'm
She did.
putting her picture
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
She's nicest, sweetest person.
Oh, that's
Really?
cool.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
Because with some of our clientele, you never know what you're going to get.
Sure.
But she was nothing but fantastically nice.
Yeah.
I was really
And
taken
so
back.
how did you get hooked up for that piece? Did you know her before?
Nope.
She just found you?
I found her.
Oh,
Yeah.
and said, I want to make you a piece
I've been a big fan of her band for about 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just kind of literally throwing mud against the wall, seeing
Yeah.
what sticks with like brainstorming ideas
Uh-huh.
and making way for some of our new inventory. We had a handful of pieces that I kind of wanted to get rid of to make way for some of the new improved stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, well, what's one thing that we get inquiries a lot about, but people want to see more diversity in the build?
Yeah.
And those mirrors,
Uh-huh.
kind of a hot ticket item,
Mm-hmm.
but we just need to show like what else we can do with it outside of just, some big
Yeah.
round cookie and just cutting out the middle.
Yeah.
How can we make it look really decorative and
Yeah.
custom?
Yeah.
So that's where the idea for that mirror came
That
from.
How much does a mirror set you back?
Those run between 5,000 and 7,000.
Those are cool.
All depends on the size of the cookie you get,
Mm-hmm.
because they all cost different amounts.
Mm-hmm.
All just depends on the customization.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's fun.
That's cool stuff.
I know.
I-
So
Yeah.
cool.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can. Come to the shop, hang out with me. We will redneck you up.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't know.
Texas Tech coming through. But
Oh yeah, dude. We'll let you drive the tractor. We'll give you a couple chainsaws.
Ooh, I
have
do have a chainsaw.
Yeah. Lindsay
Yeah.
did some chainsawing in our
I
backyard
broke
the
it.
other
I
day.
broke the
so
chainsaw.
How'd you break it?
I don't know.
the chain
I
popped off.
cut a tree down.
So I'll bring that by the shop. You can fix that too.
I'll bring that
Um,
tree for you. Make some cool.
Yeah. It's a South Lake tree.
Very
It's
rare.
approximately 4 inches in diameter.
It's very highly sought out.
Yes. I would like for you to make something amazing with that, please. Thank you.
There. Do some chopsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have, you're obviously doing all kinds of cool stuff. Do you have a favorite that kind of sticks
Yeah.
out in your mind?
I was gonna ask you that.
No,
No.
You don't have a
Just
favorite piece you've ever done?
Love them all.
I really don't. Oh, this is gonna sound bad.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, I don't have that connection to my pieces that a lot of people have because
Yeah.
as soon as that project's done, I'm already thinking about how I can one up myself.
Yeah.
So they're always just kind of stepping stones.
Yeah.
But I would say probably one of the coolest was this table we did for the Omni down in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
to where the slab actually was sitting perpendicular to the ground. And there was a
Okay.
12-foot piece of glass that sat on top.
Ah,
I
cool.
think
And
I
it was-
saw that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was just one of the more individually unique pieces that I've never
Mhm.
seen done before.
Yeah.
That when they hit us up for it, I was like, I have the perfect piece for this.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to make this better than your designs. And
That's
they're like,
cool.
awesome. Can you draw it? I'm like, nope.
Nope.
Gotta have to trust me on this one.
So you were saying like marketing is kind of a challenge because
Yeah.
y'all do such high end stuff. The clientele isn't, it's not somebody you're going to get off a Facebook ad, like you said.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of talk a little bit about that. Like, what are the challenges? How are you finding these clients? Are you calling them and saying, hey, look at my work and potentially let's get something done? Or are you getting enough of a name to where people are reaching out to you now? Because the work speaks for itself, but people have to see it.
Yeah, and we're not that big yet.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure that out, honestly. So I would say majority, like hefty majority of our residential clients find us through really good SEO work on the website. So having a really high-end looking website is crucial.
Oh yeah.
And then we work with a digital marketing firm that's actually out of Lubbock.
Woo.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Cornell Copywriting. So they handle all of our SEO work and some of the brainstorming ideas, because they do marketing, but they were the first digital marketing company that actually understood what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And first thing out of her mouth was like, yeah, normal modes of marketing and advertising are not going to work for you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
I agree.
You're like, you get it.
Yeah. So like for residential, that's kind of how it happens. Corporate can come through architecture firms, on occasion a design firm. And so when I first started out, I was going around to interior design firms and giving presentations and stuff. And then it took me a hot minute, but I actually found a really good multi-line brand rep. So what he does is, like, in the country, you have New York, LA, and Dallas are the 3 hotbeds for interior design firms.
Okay.
So being here in Dallas, we are actually in a really advantageous spot. So with hotels and resorts and stuff like that, we never actually get to work directly with them. We talk to the design firm, and then we also get paid by the purchasing firm. So there's like 3 levels of disconnect and red tape and obnoxious BS that goes on. But my brand rep now, instead of me going to have to plug myself and give presentations, unless they really want me there, he's in all those design firms every day. So he just plugs us, and whenever a job comes up they want us to bid on, it'll go through him. We'll submit the estimate. If we get the job, then he just gets paid a commission cut. So he's not salary or anything.
Yeah.
So he just plugs us with that whole group.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So your ideal clients are probably interior design firms, or I was thinking about who would be your, because it almost seems like architects or builders even too would be.
All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer residential because that means I get to work directly with the clients and just walk them through everything. They get to see everything. They get pictures and videos every time I'm working on it. And when we get to do the install and delivery, like seeing their face and their reactions, it just makes everything worth it. Versus like the corporate stuff where nobody really cares.
Right. Yeah.
You walk in and you say, "This is a cool hotel."
Yeah, I mean, they're fantastic resume builders, which gives us a lot of street cred. But if I had to give you my choice on which one I prefer working with the most, it's where I actually get to see the fruits of our labor and their reaction. Not just a cool resume builder.
Yeah.
Because some of our pieces, that go out of country or go to New York or something like that, like, unless I fly to that airport or that hotel, I'm never going to see them again.
Right.
So,
have you ever had any like really cool high-end clients? Obviously we saw her; she was cool. But like anybody else that we know, anybody famous or?
Yeah, we did. We did a really cool custom hand-carved bathroom vanity for Cole Hamels.
Oh wow, that's cool.
2008 World Series MVP.
I know.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No big deal.
Yes, they just built a monster house over in Westlake.
Oh, we should know that. Yeah, that's our
so
hood.
we did that, and then I think beginning of next month I'll be flying to Vermont to go install a table for Matt Frazier, 5-time CrossFit Games champion.
Oh wow.
Nike athlete.
Yes.
2.3 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
they're gonna do a whole like YouTube video over it and stuff like that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's my buddy.
Oh,
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
So the like that drip edge one, like how long did that take? That side table?
3 days.
3 days.
He was totally fascinated. Of all the photos I showed him,
well, because I was like, did they bend that? What did they do?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's always the how.
Yeah.
And it was funny because so Andy's actually a firefighter. So he's on one day and then he's off the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And this was like, we had been looking for a showroom spot for a while, but I didn't want to be locked into a 3 to 5 year lease.
Right.
So then my buddy Joey, his side hustle was a leather company, and just started a new job. Second kid was just born. So he's like, I'm going to have to shut this down for a while. Do you want to help me cover rent and take over the spot? So I was like, handshake deal?
Yeah.
Done. So then it was like, all right, now we got to make some pieces for this. We need to kind of not go overboard with what we're going to do, but to make it look nice.
Right.
And so we had made like 3 or 4 pieces, but I was like, we were missing that like statement kind of unique piece in there. That's just not the norm. So it was a Sunday. Andy was at church. and I want to say it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I sent him a picture. We had this giant redwood log I hauled back from California. I'd cut it into thirds, and I had one upright and basically just cut it to look like a giant L.
Yeah.
And that way I could start shaping it.
Yeah.
So I send a picture of it to Andy, and there's just sawdust everywhere. There's like 3 chainsaws out.
Yeah.
And he goes, I know what you're doing, and I'm not happy. And I was like, be prepared for tomorrow. He was like,
No.
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the next day he was like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this
Yeah.
now. And I'm like, yeah, we are. There you go,
happening.
back.
It's happening. Well, it turned out awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Did.
That's really
Are there
cool.
any other photos? I can't remember.
Yeah, did we get all of them?
Oh yeah. Where's that?
That is at the Marriott at LaGuardia in New York City.
Wow.
So that is a
That's so
11-foot long bench. So the seat height is 18 inches. It's 35 inches wide that we carved out of an entire pecan tree. And then right behind it, there's a 15-foot by 13-foot sectional bench.
Wow.
That's a pecan tree?
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool.
That I love
is
this one.
that
Is
is
that
me,
sexy beast?
That is me taking myself very seriously, as you can tell.
Uh-huh.
Right. That's awesome.
I get in trouble. So you guys were talking about looking at my Instagram.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I gave her carte blanche access to my social media because
Oh,
she
gosh.
had some
Oh.
ideas and wants us to look a different way
Uh-huh.
than what I have perceived us looking, because I don't take social media seriously at all.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So half my posts are just like me doing some stupid pose or what I think's funny.
Yeah.
And she went through and deleted like 800 posts. And I was like, I don't
Are
have those
those in a
saved.
file somewhere that we could just look through, because I feel like they're gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, I think they're still on
Just
the Facebook business page,
There
but
we
on
go.
Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Immediately
Yeah, it's
there.
gotta
I'll
be
look that
clean and
up.
pretty and
Yeah.
When you're selling $100,000 pieces and then you've got like, guy laying on a piece of wood. I don't know. I think it works.
I'm into
So,
it.
I mean-
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The Wright roast. This is coffee. Is it good? Tell me about this. What is this? You own a coffee company?
I do not own the coffee company. It's actually a good friend of mine, Caleb, who owns Flippin' Coffee. And we've experimented with a couple of different ideas over the last couple of years of like when we do an install and delivery to our residential clients, we've had the idea of having napkin holders custom lathed out from
Mhm.
scraps of their table to wine stoppers to picture books,
That's
whatever.
cool. Yeah.
And then with Caleb starting his coffee company about 6 months ago, everything just kind of fell into place to where a lot of our clients are big coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
So why don't we
Yeah.
come up with our own custom roast?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's how it started. And we actually
That's cool.
just launched this last week. We got
Oh,
the
nice.
first batch in.
Yeah. Well, it looks really cool and it smells
Lindsay will
amazing.
check it out and let you know.
Please
I'll
do.
let you know.
Yeah.
I
Please
will.
do.
I'm excited.
I'll stick to my Diet Coke. But it's all good. So,
Stunts my growth.
so what advice would you give somebody that's, sees like this type of artwork and they're like, hey, this is something I think I'd be interested in. If somebody's thinking about getting into woodworking at the scale and level that you do it, what would your advice to them be?
Don't.
Don't do it.
If I'm being dead serious,
Yeah.
yeah, don't do it.
Is it stressful or is it just, what's the negative on it?
Hindsight's 20/20, right?
Sure.
So the two pieces of advice I always give people who are starting out is go online, go on Etsy, go on Instagram, go look at what everybody else is making. Now, what can you make with your skill set, your access to whatever, that's going to separate you from the crowd?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just basically copying everybody else's work, if you're bidding on a job and somebody comes in $1,000 cheaper, how are you justifying your price?
Right.
Just try to be different. Try to figure out what's going to separate you from the crowd that you can actually either really work on your brand image or trademarking or something just to separate you.
Yeah.
That's a selling point. It's an advantage.
Yeah.
Second thing is really understand finance, how to quote stuff, how to factor in overhead, your hourly rate, material costs and fees, powder coating, steel materials, shipping, crating, everything.
Yeah.
Because a big thing that, we still deal with is when somebody comes to us. We do have minimum starting prices on our work.
Yeah.
Is somebody's like, yeah, we want 14-foot custom table, but our budget's $2,000. It's like you can't even find half of that at IKEA
Right.
for triple that.
Yeah.
Right.
So understanding, who your target clientele is, know the value of your work, and have confidence that you know where you stand.
Yeah.
Because we know who we compete against, and our pricing is actually not expensive.
Yeah.
Our pricing is considered upper middle class, but our quality, I've yet to find any other maker out there that has a higher quality finish than us.
Yeah.
Because we go to great lengths to ensure that. Yeah, just understanding how to actually like quote stuff, bid stuff, source stuff. The wood industry is an incredibly large industry. Everybody's competing against everybody.
Is it
So
really?
what are you going to do that separates you from the pack?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
Your stuff is
seriously.
amazing.
Thank you.
Really good work.
Still
Really
trying to
good
figure
work.
it out.
Yeah. I know.
So we were talking about this before the show, that this question doesn't make a ton of sense for you, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
Because it's our signature question.
Sure.
Mhm.
So when people find out that we're real estate agents,
Mhm.
I don't know if I mentioned we're real estate agents, but it's fine. People always want to know, how's the market? So when people find out that you do what you do,
Mhm.
which is probably not something that you come across every day, what's the question that you get?
Ask the most.
Mhm.
Where and how?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come
Like,
from?
where do you get the wood from?
Where do we source it all from? And then how the heck do we move it around? How do we
Yes.
do what we do with it?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All
And
the
it's
questions we
mostly
just
it's mostly just, rednecking, figuring out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get away with a lot of stuff with a 2x4.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he's putting that Texas Tech degree to use. So, that's good work.
Got jokes.
What?
Can
I'm
I
just
punch
saying.
him? Should I punch him? Or-
No, you're
Okay.
fine. You're
Okay.
fine.
Nice. Well, thank you, Doc. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming
Thanks
If
for
out.
having me
somebody
on, guys.
saw this episode and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to work with this guy, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, through the website, www.thewrighted.com, and that's right with a W. Yep,
Mhm.
right there on the screen.
That is a fancy website.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Artisanal. That's a
It's
big
a
word.
fancy
Yeah.
word.
Fancy word.
Well, because like when you say woodworking, people automatically assume like this stuff,
Mhm.
some sort
Sure.
of carpentry. When somebody asks me what I do, I pretty much just go, it's really hard to explain. Just here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to describe it. Most
Yeah.
people are just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're different.
Mhm.
That's cool, man.
Instagram is also a really good way, the Right Edge.
That's a great
With a
way to
W.
see his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, if you go through the website, there's a form at the bottom of the main page to submit.
Mhm.
Then you can go meet Jennifer at the showroom. And then if you pass that interview, you get to come meet me at the shop
Yeah.
Wow.
in all my glory of being covered in sawdust
How
Love it.
often do you shower?
every day.
Twice a day. No big
Twice
deal.
a day.
Oh, it's ridiculous. There's
Yeah.
sawdust everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beard, I bet. It's all.
Well, it's man glitter.
Man glitter.
That was the
Oh,
best
that's
thing
good
you've said
stuff.
all day.
Yes. I'm going to title this entire episode Man Glitter.
Uh-huh.
So
I like it.
that'll get some attention.
Fantastic. Oh, and
Yeah.
for those of you who are interested in the coffee, there are
Yeah.
other custom roasts and everything like that.
Mhm.
Just go to flippincoffee.com and it's on the bag.
Flipping.
And if you use the
Right wrist.
discount code BIGWOOD, all in caps, you'll get 10% off every order. Because I take myself that seriously.
Man Glitter and Bigwood. So
Oh.
Keeping it
that's,
classy.
that's a show
Cheers.
right there. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you, Doc. Really appreciate your time today.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on,
coming
guys. It was a great
And,
meeting you all.
Yeah.
if you guys need anything from him, oh, hey, there I am. You got his info. And if there's anything that we can help you out with, Lindsay and I, hi@3vinegroup.com. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.